Hi guys, Fuck of Gaming here and welcome to one of the best weapons in Call of Duty Warzone. It's definitely my personal favorite. It will kill an entire enemy team long before they know it hit them, and it destroys everyone who even dares to come close. It's so accurate that you can even draw circles with it on a wall. Welcome to the MP7 in Warzone. Today we're going to break down everything there is to know about this weapon, and we will compare the stats, the bullet patterns, and I will show you some of its best loadouts. The Heckler & Koch MP7 is a personal defense weapon designed by the German defense manufacturer Heckler & Koch. The MP7 went into production in 2001 and it's a direct rival to the FN-P90. The MP7 was made as an upgrade to the MP5 as the body armors were getting better and better. The MP7 is one of the most rapid firing guns in the entire game. Only the FR 5.56 is able to beat it. The MP7 itself has a RPM of 950. That means that it's almost able to fire 16 bullets in 1 second. The basic weapon has a magazine capacity of 40 bullets. That means that a full magazine will only last you 2.53 seconds and then you will have to reload. Doing that is going to take you 2.210 seconds, but if you use sleight of hand, you can improve that to only 1.742 seconds. That is 0.47 seconds faster, that's almost half a second. Without sleight of hand, it has one of the fastest reload speeds compared to all other weapons in the game. The only guns that can reload faster are 4 handguns and the MK2 carbine. As you know, the MP7 is an SMG, which means that it is best used for close range kills. We all know it's a great weapon, but how great is it really? Let's find out. Within 12.5 meters, a headshot will cause 40 damage points, which equates to a time to kill of only 379 milliseconds. Chest and stomach shots will cause 25 damage, which means a time to kill of 568 milliseconds. Limb shots, so arms and legs, cause 22 damage, which gives you a time to kill of 695 milliseconds. In terms of DPS, it is the weakest SMG together with the P90. This might come as a surprise to some of you because in Warzone it just works and it kills so fast. We all know that, right? In terms of time to kill, compared with all other SMGs, it has the 4th place out of 7. The AUG, the Bison and the MP5 are able to kill faster. The first damage drop-off point occurs at 12.5 meters, which is not very far to be honest. Just to give you an idea of what 12.5 meters is in Warzone, just go to the upper floor of any normal sized house and that's what 12.5 meters looks like. From this range onwards, headshots will cause 32 damage points and that gives you a time to kill of 442 milliseconds. That's about 20% less damage and you now have a time to kill which is 16.6% slower than shooting at the same enemy if he was standing closer to you. Torso shots cause 20 damage points, which gives you a time to kill of 758 milliseconds, which is again 20% weaker and 33.5% slower than before. Limb shots cause 18 damage and that gives you a time to kill of 821 milliseconds. That is 18.2% less damage and 18.1% slower for the time to kill. The second damage drop-off point occurs at 17.5 meters and it ends at 22.5 meters. Within this range, headshots will cause 29 damage with a time to kill of 505 milliseconds. That's 27.5% weaker and 33.3% slower than the base damage. Torso shots will cause 18 damage, time to kill 821 milliseconds, which is again 28% weaker and 44.5% slower. Limb shots, 16 damage, time to kill 947 milliseconds, which is 27.3% weaker and 36.3% slower, which is a big difference at this point. It doesn't end there. There is still a third and final drop-off point at 22.5 meters. From this range onwards, headshots, 25 damage, time to kill 568. 37% weaker, 49.9% slower than the base damage. That's 50% almost. Torso shots, 16 damage, time to kill 947. Again, 36% weaker, 66.7% slower. Limb shots, 14 damage points with a time to kill of 1 second and 74 milliseconds, and that again is 36.4% weaker and 54.5% slower. Over 22.5 meters, the MP7 has the weakest damage output per bullet if you look at all the other SMGs. But if we go over 27.5 meters, then the P90 will take its place as the weakest damage output for headshots by 1 damage point. Let's draw our first conclusion here. Purely based on the stats, people always say that the AUG is better. That's not completely true. It is and it isn't. You can look at one particular stat and purely focus on that. And then you can say, yes, the AUG is better. Then another person can look at another stat and then he can say that the MP7 is better. So you have to take other stats into account as well. On top of everything else, you have to realize that you're playing a game. There are other things that matter as well, so you have to make it realistic. Because let's face it, it takes 7 headshots or 10 body shots to kill with the MP7 within 12.5 meters. Are you really going to count those? Remember, you have a rate of fire of 950 rounds per minute. Good luck counting your shots. On top of everything else, your opponent will not drop dead the moment you have fired 7 beautiful headshots. It takes time before your PC or console starts showing him going down. So just because of that and because of the rate of fire, you're going to waste some extra bullets on every person that you kill. On average, and I can only speak for myself, I can comfortably kill 2 guys with 1 60 round magazine because I prefer to reload before I have to fight the 3rd or the 4th guy. So for the stats, not only the time to kill matters, but also the ADS time and the reload time. So if we take all of that into account, then the MP7 kills faster if you go for headshots within 12.5 meters. Even though the AUG with the 5.56 rounds has a faster time to kill with 364 milliseconds compared to 379 milliseconds. The reason is that the ADS time of the AUG takes way too long, 0.258 seconds versus only 0.176, and that does not compensate for the slightly better time to kill of only 0.015 seconds. So the MP7 is better at this range when you go for headshots, and we haven't even included the reload times yet. If you shoot your enemy in the chest within 12.5 meters, the AUG needs a time to kill of 0.455 seconds and the MP7 needs 0.568. So most people will just say, yep, I told you, the AUG is better. But is it really? Yes, the time to kill is faster. No argument there. But can you actually kill faster with it when you're facing an entire enemy team? The difference that we have to deal with here is 130 milliseconds for the time to kill. Just for the MP7's better ADS time alone, we already gained back 82 milliseconds, so only 31 milliseconds left. Let's say we're killing 4 guys. So with the AUG you can kill 1 guy 31 milliseconds faster than if you're using the MP7. Times 4, because of the 4 enemies, means 124 milliseconds. Of course, I know you can get rid of the slower ADS time if you just keep on looking through your sights at all times, but nobody does that, and you will have to reload at some point anyway. As you know, the MP7 needs 2.210 seconds to reload. The AUG needs 3.138 seconds, a difference of 928 milliseconds. How on earth are you gonna be able to make up for that? The AUG had 124 milliseconds going for it because of the time to kill, but the reload time put it back with 928 milliseconds. So now it's going to lose 804 milliseconds compared to the MP7. So no, the AUG is not better at this range when you're facing a team. All what I'm trying to say here is, don't just believe the guys who make a YouTube video and say that one weapon is better than the other purely based on the time to kill alone. Try to see what would happen in game and then decide for yourself which gun is better. Or subscribe to Fuck of Gaming and I will happily do that for you. All I want for you is to make your own decision. If you want to play with the AUG because of the slightly better time to kill, then hey, go ahead and do so. You will live happily ever after. But don't be surprised when a guy destroys your entire enemy team with his MP7 before you can destroy theirs with your AUG. Remember guys, it's your game and it's your time. You play it any way you like. But you came to this video for a reason, so let's continue and make your MP7 even better. The best loadout for the MP7 depends on the person who is holding it and on the situation, of course. For example, I can draw a circle on the wall with the MP7, but I need a sight in order to do that. I can't do that with the iron sights, so for me I do require the use of the Cronen Mini Reflex. If you're comfortable using the iron sights, then you have the luxury of choosing something else to make your weapon even better, but that's a personal thing. For the muzzle, the best attachment is the monolithic suppressor. It gives you the best sound suppression and it gives you a boost to the range, meaning that you're extending your damage drop-off points. However, you will suffer from a slower ADS speed and a worse aim walking steadiness. For the barrel, the FFS Recon stands out. This barrel will again improve the damage range, and on top of that it will increase the bullet velocity, which is absolutely great. As an extra bonus, we get better recoil control, but all of this comes at the cost of slower ADS times and slower movement speed. speed. As you know, I'm a fan of the Chronon mini reflex. It works for me, but feel free to use something else, or if you can, stick to the iron sights. The mini reflex gives you a precision sight picture, and I can completely agree with that. But it also says that it slows down the ADS speed, and I know that this is a big lie, at least for me on a 144 frames per second monitor. I'm testing out all the differences between the sights and scopes, but it's still a work in progress because it just takes forever. What I noticed already with the M4A1 is that there is absolutely no ADS time difference between the iron sights and the Corp Combat holo sight. Even though it says there isn't. So don't try to use the iron sights if you're not comfortable with it, just because you think it's the only option that won't slow down your ADS speed, because a holo sight makes absolutely no difference. I will give you one other example. The VLK slows down your ADS time with 4 frames, and that's it. I will explain the rest in that video, but for now you know more than enough to make a decision. For the underbarrel, I chose for the Commando foregrip for recoil stabilization, not so much for aiming stability. The downside is a negative effect on movement speed. The reason why I chose for this one is because I did about 15 bullet pattern tests with all of these attachments, and the pattern with the Commando foregrip came out on top. Some guys prefer the Merc foregrip because they use hipfire a lot, so this depends on your personal playstyle as well. For me, out of 100 kills, maybe 2 kills were purely because of hipfire shots. I will start shooting without aiming down sights, but I will end up using ADS shortly thereafter. On top of that, there is a noticeable improvement on hipfire with the Merc foregrip, but the difference is not as big as you would think. The last one is sort of a no-brainer. More bullets in Warzone is a good thing. For the assault rifles, you could argue that 50 bullets is enough, but for the SMGs, the majority will agree that 60 bullets is the way to go. Sure, the negative effects on the ADS speed and movement speed are bigger, but it's a necessary evil, so we just have to deal with it. Now that we have our weapon set up, let's check out what you may expect when you use it in-game. The basic MP7's bullet pattern looks like this. This is without any attachments. If we then use the 60 round magazine and the other attachments, then of course it will end up going higher because of the difference with the 40 round magazine, but the difference is not that big. Definitely not big enough to explain the 20 extra bullets. On top of that, the pattern is now much tighter. It looks like a straight line up and then it pulls to the top right corner. The basic bullet pattern goes up and to the right as well, but the bullets go violently to the left and to the right, and you can't really call that a straight line. When I then try to compensate for the recoil, it looks like a big mess. But then, look what happens when I do the same with our best loadout for the MP7. It almost looks like you're painting a circle on the wall, which means that you can now paint the same circle on your opponent's head. Pretty nice, eh? Another great aspect of the SMGs and the MP7 are its mobility. You can run around so fast that running around with an assault rifle is starting to feel incredibly slow. Imagine how you would feel when you're forced to pick up a machine gun. Every time I do that, I feel like crying. It's so slow. The MP7 is a pleasure to use in comparison. Looting is fast, running feels actually like running. Fighting, dodging, sliding, everything feels fast and snappy. All extra benefits of using a weapon like this one. So, is the MP7 a good weapon to use in Call of Duty Warzone? Yes, it is. We all knew that already, but now we know the stats and now we know why it's so good. I will create a few comparison videos between the MP7 and a few other weapons like the ARC for example. If you want me to compare it with your favorite weapon, then let me know in the comments. And if you want, you can already check out how it performs versus the M4A1 over here in this video. As always guys, if you want to be the first one to know about these weapon guides, then make sure to subscribe. This was Fuck Gaming, thanks for watching, and I will see you in Warzone.